Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully everyone had a great Tuesday afternoon. We're gonna get back at it. I've been thinking, and we made some changes last week to how we record stuff and how we do things. I said that we would start recording every day, maybe multiple times a day, stitch it all together, put out a podcast, maybe once or twice a week, with all the clips put together, instead of doing it all in long form, all in one shot. This time around, we're going to continue to do that. However, the daily ones, so the one I record daily, there's also going to be a video attached. The clip itself is going to be put onto YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and then the audio will still be spliced together and added to my Substack. So we're going to get YouTube going. Hopefully from there, we're going to get into TikTok or, just keep expanding, moving, whatever we can get. Just hitting every platform, I guess, is the goal here. So looking forward to that. And it's going to be more work. It's going to be a little wonky maybe at first, but we're going to try it out. We're going to keep going. See what works, see what doesn't. I think it's one of the situations, just being an audio medium is cool and all. However, there's platforms out there that, like YouTube, TikTok, that are visual. There's a video. So just keep bearing with us and see what we do. See how it goes from there. Today at work, I had a pretty interesting conversation. Kind of one of those conversations that doesn't really end. It kind of sucks up the entire day, which I enjoy because it gets everyone involved. People get excited. People get heated. People argue. Conflict in my book always, it's good to have conflict, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Not to the point where you're getting physical and punching each other and all that stuff, but if you're arguing and it's a healthy debate back and forth, that's how new ideas come out. That's how people actually work together better, in my book. So whenever the office gets involved with conversations like this, I enjoy it. What we were talking about was artificial intelligence, right? We were talking about ChatGPT. It spawned. That was the original conversation. How we use it. Is it okay to use it for certain things? And like, how can you even know if I was using it? So I'm going to use it to do some of my work, stuff like that. And then it just the conversation evolved into just artificial intelligence in general. And it's pretty wild because this is we're at the point where we don't know what's going to happen next with it. You know what I mean? Like if there's a new car coming out, right? You know it's going to drive. It might have some cool features. So if it's a Tesla, it might have self-automated driving, all that stuff, or full service driving, whatever they call it. But for the most part, it's going to have 4 wheels, 3 wheels, 2 wheels. It's going to get you from point A to point B. Not much is going on. Before the car was invented, though, and they're using horse and buggy, they had no idea what a car was. So like you tell someone, oh, there's a car getting developed, and they're like, you've never seen a car. You never pictured a car. You have no idea what a car means, like what it means to have a car. You know what a horse and buggy is, and someone's telling you that's going to have an engine on it. What's an engine? And you go into you can't picture it until you actually see it and you use it. That's the point we're at now, or that's in the conversation we were having at work. We were saying this is the point we're at now is we don't really know what's going to happen with artificial intelligence once it's here. We have ideas, and everyone's like, oh, well, it's going to take over the world, and it's going to be Skynet, and it's going to be Ultron. Or it's just going to be this super smart thing that like pulls us out of all the world's problems because it's going to think on the fly. That all sounds good and well, but we're at the point now where we are the people before the car. Before we went into space, no one even knew what space was. We knew that there was something up there. We launched the satellite, and that was that. But we didn't actually know what was up there. And no one actually was, oh, space, give me a break, you know? It's like you're on the point of something that you think is impossible, and then someone's like, oh, well, it's possible. We have no idea what it's going to look like in a few years. So we're at that point now, and we started getting into the singularity and how would you know if we achieved if we achieved a singularity, how would that basically affect the people in the room that are like, oh shit, what'd we just do, kind of thing, you know? So that would be like you'd have all the power in the world in that little window of time and that little room that it happens in, or building that it happens in. It's like, oh shit, what'd we just do? And it's like a breakthrough moment, like a legitimate breakthrough. Like we just invented something, pretty much made something that's smarter, faster. It's going to outperform everything we do in real time. It's going to correct itself. It's going to learn from its mistakes. It's going to be the smartest thing ever, basically. And it's only going to get smarter every single time. There's no point where it's going to be like, oh, I need a nap. It's just going to keep going and going and going until it becomes its smartest self. So I've seen them, but I don't know if they're real or not, where there's job advertisements for like a kill switch, where they're hiring people at Google and all these places, these tech companies that are researching AI, to have a kill switch person where their job is to sit there and legitimately pound a button down that shuts it off, because once it's invented and it gets into the system, it's too late. So there's that. And then, I mean, the singularity by itself, it's going to change everything instantly. Society, the economy, the way we live. So it's kind of how, like I said, the car getting invented, or an airplane, a commercial airplane bringing people from point A to point B. So there's a lot that goes into that. We started talking about like the problem with AI, and like I'm more of an optimist about it. Like, yeah, we're gonna fuck this up, and there's gonna be problems, and it's gonna cause mayhem. But I think I'm optimistic that it's gonna be helping instead of hurting. It's not gonna be like the Ultron version and be like, well, the humans have to die because you guys are killing the planet type of thing. But we were talking about, like, is it ethical to actually do this? Like, because unemployment is going to skyrocket. If it can control literally everything and build itself a bot, like a robot to control and go from there, like, then why do we need most of these jobs? You know? It won't happen overnight, but once it starts, it's not going to stop. Education, you can already see it with ChatGPT. People are legit not doing any of their real work. They're just writing essays through ChatGPT. And if anyone's ever used it, even the free version, you can get 99% of your paper done in one swoop. ChatGPT 4, if you've ever used that, the premium version, it makes it indistinguishable from a human writing it. I've used it and I've tested it. I've put in just paragraphs of stuff I've pulled off the internet and say, can you reword this for me so it sounds like me talking? And what ChatGPT does, it's not going to be like, all right, we're just going to reword things. It realized the grammar I used in that sentence and how stupid I probably sounded, and it integrates that into that writing. So it picks up your pattern right away, and it's like, all right, he's obviously not a fucking scholar because he just said the most basic sentence in the stupidest way possible. So I'm going to write this as if he wrote it, and it writes you exactly how I would say it. And then you can change it. Be like, can you rewrite that to make it sound more smart, or make it sound professional, or write it in narrative form, or make a poem out of it? And this thing will do it. ChatGPT is a little slower than 3.5, but I'd say 10 seconds, you'll have a whole essay written. And what's the point? I know teachers you see it on Reddit. I've seen posts where professors are like, oh, not in my classroom, and I have this AI I'm going to run every paper through, and it's going to tell me right away. The problem with that is now there's AIs that can clean it out again. They can just data launder, basically, where they just launder it through, and and now it's ran through twice to become more indistinguishable, and then you can do it again and again and again until you can never tell. So it's kind of like, if there's crime, the criminals are always one step ahead. So if you build me a 15-foot wall, I'm going to build a 16-foot ladder type of thing. So education is going to be completely fucked. I think the biggest leap and the biggest benefit we'll see is in healthcare, because that's going to be doing research on multiple topics almost at the speed of light, and it's not going to take breaks. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to keep going. And sure, like, it has to be reviewed and be like, is this correct? And, you know, if you're asking the computer that made it, is it correct? Of course, the computer's going to say it. So you have to have some independent human being at that point verifying a lot of the information. But, I mean, that's pretty wild when you think about it, because think about like an underfunded research. And this thing's like, I don't even need funding. I'm just going to fucking do this. And it's just doing it, you know? And there's no stopping it. There's no restraint on it. There's no person that had a bad day and doesn't want to work or is taking a break. Or it's like, no, it's just going to go until it figures it out. And it probably figure out better ways to do things. I mean, we have pretty good healthcare in America. It's not free, but like, we have really good doctors and they know a lot of shit, but they might be doing this. Maybe they're doing it really inefficient, and AI can be like, we could do it better. That also comes with a lot of regulation. I would feel like a lot of ethical questions, shit like that. And then basically it's going to come down to like, do we want to be using this? You know, of course, there's going to be people that on both sides that are going to say, we're all for it. Let's fucking push. And then other people are going to be like, nope, let's slow it down. I'm never going to use it. And it's going to go from there. And then I went on TikTok, where I get all my information from, basically. And one of the videos was saying just at the rate at which this is all advancing. And again, all it takes is that one step to a singularity. But even if that's not feasible for the next 10 years, they said by 2100, it's going to be fully integrated into humans, like fully integrated into your life. You might even have a chip imprinted in you, or some kind of piece that you wear on your body. Could be glasses, contact lens, earpiece that can monitor all your shit. Kind of how we wear watches and everything's keeping track of our heart rate. Like, this thing's going to be one of those, but advanced as fuck. So it'll just be like you having an assistant in your head telling you not what to do, but, you know, explaining things. So they said by 2100, it's not going to be like we're going to be cyborgs and we're some kind of robot arms and stuff, but we won't be considered human at that point. And there's going to be like human colonies that are AI free, just because that's what, I mean, people believe anything. You know, there's always that one group that, I don't want this technology near me. And it's going to be kind of fucked. But I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm 35 years old. You know, if this thing can fucking make me a little healthier, it's telling me like, hey, we've noticed your heart rate is getting a little wild, or your blood pressure has been elevating the last 3 years. And it's telling you like, here's what you should do. It's already notifying your doctor, who's an AI, instantly saying, here's what we need to do. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be all connected. And we're already connected. We just don't have the capability to do it in real time. We have to still make an appointment, go see a doctor. The doctor sends you to some other doctor, specialist, and then you go from there. Then you actually have to follow what the doctor tells you to do. And some people don't believe in their doctor, or some people don't even have health care. So I know when they were trying to tell me, when I had knee surgery and I was going to physical therapy, I was like, you're telling me to do things that A, I don't really want to do, and B, I don't think this is going to help my knee in the long run. Like, I couldn't do one-legged squats before I had knee surgery, so I probably won't be able to do like one-legged squats now, you know? So I think if you had an AI telling you what to do, you can talk back to it and be like, look, I can't do that. I couldn't do that before. Why should I try to do it now? And it could tailor entire therapy to what you can do and knows you can do. And so that could be an option. I mean, it's not that far-fetched to think about, because you do the same thing with your doctor. It's just, if you have a doctor that listens and is like, all right, well, I understand. Here's a different thing you can do. And you do like leg raises or, you know, quad exercises to hit the same muscles, just in a different way. So I'm looking forward to that kind of thing, like where you're just instantly engaged in this thing and it's always tracking you. Because let's be honest, either everything's tracking us now anyway, like your phone tracks every movement you make. Every time it pings a signal, it sends your location, the data, it data dumps. So like when you upload something to the cloud, If you've ever been in one of those situations where you say you're hiking or you're in somewhere that doesn't have service, and you take pictures and then you come back into service and you see it saying syncing to the cloud, it pinged more than those pictures. It's pinging your location, the data, all your phone data, where you just went, how fast you got from that point to this point, all of it. So everything's already tracking you as it is. On top of that, everyone's sharing shit on the internet as it is. Look at me. I'm making a video right now. I'm making a podcast. Like, I'm voluntarily sharing all my shit. So when people are like, oh, I don't want people tracking me, it's like you're using an iPhone. So, deal with it. And then there's some people that are just off the grid completely. So, but those are far less and less because where everything goes is just connected. You need it for everything. So I'm not going to be opposed to it if they're like, hey, stick this thing in your ear or attach this to your arm or your leg, or here's an injection with some fucking robots and it's going to monitor all your shit and tell you exactly when you're going to die. That'd be kind of morbid. I feel like you'd have to sign a waiver for that. If this thing was like, hey, by the way, we know exactly, not exactly, maybe we know within 72 hours the exact time you're going to die. And it's like, you get drunk one night, you're like, tell me, and this thing's like, are you sure? And you're like, I'm positive. And then, it tells you like, just based on your blood, the shit that you're doing, like your activity level, you're going to die at 66. You're like, oh, well, I'm fucking 35, but that means I'm halfway past it already. So I don't know if anyone would want to do that. I could see people doing it. I could see the first batch of people being like, yeah, totally. And then especially those health freaks, those healthy assholes that are just like, listen to me, I know everything, and I'm the smartest person, and eat what I eat and do what I do. That'd be great. That if they were the ones to get this thing, and then it's like, you're going to die in like 6 months. And it's like, what the hell? I thought I was a vegan, and it's going to help me out. And they're like, no, you're an idiot. You should have been eating red meat the whole time, dummy. I wouldn't laugh if that happened, but it would be kind of a ironic situation if that actually happened. So the privacy issues are probably the bigger thing. How much do you want to let this thing in? And it's the more you let it in, the better it is for everybody. But how much do you really want this thing to know? Like, do you want to watch this thing watch you jerk off or something? Like, that's fucking weird. Or like having sex or whatever the hell you're doing. Like, oh, you haven't had a bowel movement in 36 hours. Your colon is backed up. Like, thanks for the reminder. Like, if it's gonna be choppy, I don't want it. If it's gonna be like smooth and understanding, then yeah. I guess that's with any relationship, really. The smoother, the better. Imagine your significant others telling you like, hey, I noticed you haven't had a bowel movement in 36 hours. Everything feeling all right? And you're like, why you gotta even bring that up? But anyway, you should have heard the 9/11 joke I made earlier. So this is just some of the conversations we were having. We got off the rails there. We were talking at work, like, are we gonna even need to do any work anymore? Like, what happens when they're like, there's like 5 jobs left? It's like you work on a server that makes sure this thing is, and by the way, this thing's gonna be secure as fuck. Like, physically secured. You know what I mean? Like, whatever server room this is in, if anyone's ever worked near a server room, they're pretty secure for the most part. Some of them more than others. But I feel like this thing's going to be like locked down, like multiple layers of security, and then multiple layers of like AI security, and then multiple layers of like encryption and shit, even if you get that close to it without this thing, fending you off. Because imagine everyone's connected to this one network and someone, drops a bomb or something crazy onto it. So this thing's going to be secure as all hell. So there's only going to be a handful of professions left. I could still see lawyers being around for some reason because they're snakes. And unless this thing can interpret law and wants to do that, or if it's going to be like, no, you broke the law, here's your fine, next. That would be the best. To me, that's cut and dry. You broke the law. And another thing I guess I'm thinking about now, like, what if your AI turned you in? Like, is your AI just there to help you, or is it there to make sure you're not, it's kind of like a parent? That would suck. If you do something illegal and this thing just reports you. I can't see anyone signing off on that, but I can see like a child protection on that thing. Like, your kid can have like an AI piece, whatever, wearable or whatever, but you can set it to like, let me know if this little fucker's up to no good kind of thing. But that'd be kind of wild if like, I guess that's the privacy part is, say I murdered somebody, right? Could the cops take the data from my AI and be like, yeah, we know you did it because the AI picked up the entire thing? I'm assuming they will. I'm assuming they're going to try to at least. But with the AI, like, turn on you and be like, I'm turning you in. I don't know. We'll see. But that'd be kind of cool if it was just cut and dry. Like, you broke the law. Here's the fine. Here's the punishment. But if you're having fines still, that means people still are using money. And I can't see people using money the same way we use it now if this is all doing it for you. In that one video I watched, they called it the age of abundance. Like, we think we're in the age of abundance now, but we still have people digging holes, digging up dirt, farming, moving things point A to point B with trucks and planes. I think what it said in this video is that like AI is going to figure this out like the simplest way possible, even if that means moving people from an area so it can block off this entire area just to farm for the entire world. Like, that would make sense on paper. You just take a whole chunk of the planet and you're like, this is just made for growing food. And by growing, I mean like vegetables, farming, cattle, all this stuff. It's not just like, oh, we're all going to be vegans from now on or vegetarians, but it's going to be like, why do we have all these little pockets of stuff? Why not just put it in one section? Maybe, I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that. Damn, lost my train of thought. My nose is stuffy as fuck. Hold on. Oh, yeah. So what I was saying was people are going to have to figure out a way to, if we're still using money the same way we use it now, people are going to need a basic income. Like, it's going to have to be one of those things where like we're all getting an allowance from the government or the AI at this point. Because if all these jobs are getting instantly knocked out, that's going to be a problem for the economy. So, in conclusion, that's kind of how our day went at work today. That's kind of how we discussed and killed time for the 8 hours we were there. We talked about AI, I think the majority of the day. I think we watched Minority Report yesterday or today. Someone watched it recently and they were talking about it. And that's kind of how the conversation came across, and then we just went from there. But again, this will be audio only on Substack. The whole video will be on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. Any support is good support. Any publicity. I always say that word wrong. Publicity is good publicity. So if you want to tell me to fuck myself, that's fine too. But it's been fun, and we will talk again eventually. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Am I right?